I would need him to. Oh, I know what I can do. I'd have to pin him. Return to meeting. All right.
I think you guys will get a kick out of this stuff.
Yeah, we'll see.
Are we live again?
We're live again.
It's about damn time.
All right.
We're live with the
Welcome
proper
back.
title.
Welcome back to this to the Valentine's Day Bathrobe Edition 2.0.
As far as I know, we're all good to go. Sorry about that, guys. Bringing up the correct link now, and we will share that one. Let's go. Let's go!
Okay, I see it.
All right, so if folks want to help us out with sharing to the socials, click that like button, throw down a comment, say, let us know you're here. That way YouTube says, hey, this video is kind of popular and shit. People want to see this. So that's kind of how this works. We're up against Timcast right now. Why is my shit loading so slow? I feel like I'm back to 56K modem again. This is ridiculous.
It'll be okay.
Look how slow this is loading.
Wow.
This is beyond slow. Like, I just want my link. I just want a link, man, so I can share it with all the people of the world.
Oh, I already shared it. It's
There we go.
Go to your notifications in YouTube.
No, I got it. I had to get my YouTube to even load up.
Oh.
It was running. Mute. Abort. Okay, I don't want to have to abort again, so. All right, I'm going to have to mute you. You're going to ruin everything. Here we go. All right, so we've got it live. We're going.
Did you mute him?
We're good. I haven't even been back over there yet.
Oh, okay.
All righty, so we will pop you up as pinned. There we go.
Oh, hey, Curry.
Okay, he
He's
can't
in
hear
there
you,
now. Awesome.
or he can hear you, but okay. So we're gonna start now. So hush, no talking. Okay. Good Lord, this has been a journey already. See, now here's the thing. Here's the thing. We here at the Unframe of Mind show, we like to have a nice, smooth going show, laid back, just talking about the day's events and whatnot. And sometimes you have a brain fart, and that happens when you forget to change the stream name, and you end up, running the same title as you did the previous week, and
This
now
is
everybody's
why you have
confused.
me on the show.
So, as we begin today, we've actually got a guest that will be joining us here shortly to converse about what's been going on lately. Welcome back to the Unframe of Mind show, where we have uncomfortable conversations without a condom. We're your highbrow ideas and lowbrow packaging. I'm your host, Daniel Wagner.
Anthony Trawick.
And we are going to get started now.
Listening to the Unframe of Mind show, the place to have the most mind-stretching, unprotected, intellectual intercourse of your life. Your hosts battle the forces of evil by lobbing fiery balls of truth, reason, and evidence over safe room walls.
Sure do.
Seriously.
Hey, so what's up, guys?
How you doing?
Krista, thanks for joining us in the comments there. All right, so this has been fun. Interesting for sure.
Hey, what did you think of my penis snowman? Did you enjoy that?
I enjoyed your penis snowman.
Good.
With a passion. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
Did you like the attention to detail with the sticks around the balls?
Was that your snowman?
No, it wasn't.
Did you take that picture locally, or did you get that off the internet?
No, actually, I got that from a friend of mine. That was I guess somebody had built that in their neighborhood and sent it to me. So
that's
yeah.
even better.
Mm-hmm.
That is even better. All right, so Puddin says I can't put this in the announcements. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Oh well, just share it with us. Anyway, so we've got a number of things going on here. We've got. I need Anthony. I need you to talk for a second,
dude. You are struggling
I need
tonight.
you to talk to help, so I can focus on technical shit at the moment. Tell people about all that Bitcoin stuff you've been purchasing. How that's been
They don't want to hear about Bitcoin.
They do now.
About the amount of money I've made off Bitcoin recently.
It's not so much about the Bitcoin as much as it is about
I'm being a newbie.
Your
and
newfound excitement and the learning that you're doing.
You mean the fact that I'm like texting you at all hours of the night, hey, man, check Bitcoin. First thing in the morning, hey, man, check Bitcoin.
Right. Exactly.
No, I mean, not to mention that Daniel's been doing that. He's been investing in Bitcoin now for a little over 10 years, and I've only been recent to the game to it. So now, for those of you that have actually watched the show for over the last year, anytime Daniel would bring Bitcoin to my attention as a topic of the show that we're going to discuss, I lose all interest. I have no desire to come over to the studio and do a show with him. I look extremely bored. And a year later, I'm over here contacting you left and right about what's currently going on in the market. So, yeah, it's been interesting times, that's for sure. That looks like a penis.
All right. So, apparently, this is happening like as we get started. So, I was not
This is kind of cool.
prepared for this. But we have another gentleman in, not our guest, but Curry Hobo, I believe, is the name. We haven't met yet, and we'll probably meet him later on. And he's going to be drawing what he's seeing on the show. So every now and again, since Censorship Sucks is here audio only, we're going to have a visual element, and this will be it. So for those in the podcast listening audience, I apologize. You can't see this, but here we go. So we've already got a Bitcoin penis made of snow.
Yes.
And unframe of mind. Right on.
This is going to be, I mean, like
I'm gonna
in real time, watching him draw as we are having this show. This is pretty neat.
Yeah, and we'll check back in periodically back and forth, and I've got a number of fuck it. Let's begin. Hey, Censorship Sucks. You go by John Galt, of course. Wah, wah. But we're gonna call you. We'll just call you John for tonight.
Johnny boy.
And I'd like to welcome you to the show. What's going on, man?
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. I've met you guys over on Minds over the last month or two, and we've had you on our radio show. We've had you on the podcast, and got to hang out with you for quite a while. So it's been a real pleasure to get to know you, and I'm happy to be here on your show.
Yeah, we're kind of turning the tables on you tonight. This is having you on our show and asking some of the questions of getting to know you for a change, and because here lately it seems like we've been on a lot of shows where people have been interviewing us, not so much the other way around.
So John here, 5 minutes before I'm fixing to go live or send him links, he's like, "Hey, I got a guy that wants to like draw for us." I'm like, draw out the conversation is what he said. And when I'm thinking draw out a conversation, I'm thinking, we're going to try to extend the conversation to a longer length. That's the disadvantage of text-based communication.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
And so
it's really hard to describe.
Yeah, I completely
exactly
misunderstood.
what he does.
And my first thought was, "Motherfucker, this is my show. Quit inviting new guests." I thought you were trying to invite another guest at the last minute. I'm like, I don't know.
He just likes to listen and draw.
No, it's all.
That is a
pictures
cool.
of what
I
we
mean, I
talk
like
about.
that.
It's all good. I'll be glad to have it along. We'll see what happens with that.
Well, when I told you I wasn't, I don't have a camera, then I was like, but I might have another solution instead of like, having to look at my face. You can look at this stuff.
Well, I'm glad you brought the solution up 5 minutes before we got started.
Well, I brought it up earlier, I think, and I don't know. Scroll up, man. Scroll up.
I've got you. All right. So anyway. I
wonder if we can start talking about porn if he'll draw something on there for us.
Yeah.
Let's do that, Dick.
We've already got a
big
penis.
hairy sticks coming out of it for hairs.
All right, so I have a number of different topics I want to touch on tonight, and one thing that I just wanted to bring up, I was going to bring it up whether you were going to be here anyway or not, was I recently just went through and I looked at the Billboard charts, the top 100 songs of today. I was just curious. Honestly, I was just curious, and I went to look at it, and I wanted to see, okay, how many of these artists do I know? And I was stunned. I got on this thing and I started just scrolling through the list. I'm like, no, heard of them, no. And I would say 80 to 85% of this list I've never even heard of.
Yeah.
Like I've never even heard the name.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Another maybe 7 or 8%. I've heard the name, but I couldn't tell you what they sang. A couple percent, I would say, I have heard a song of theirs or two. and only one person on the entire chart would I say that I listen to somewhat regularly, and that was Billie Eilish. That's it.
Right.
Other than that, I was lost. I didn't know none of these people. I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, or have had a chance to look at the Billboard charts, or if that's something that you're even into at all. Music. I know we're into music because we've been doing music reaction videos. We talk about music all the time. But what about you, John? Are you like into music at all, or
Not really.
if so,
No.
yeah, not really. Well,
Yeah,
that's
not,
helpful.
not really.
That's a damn bummer.
He gave us nothing to go on.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, but it's just yeah, it's
Thanks.
kind of a dead end for me.
Yeah, well, I chose the wrong
I mean,
topic.
I like music. Sure, I'll listen to it, but
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not like like I don't like listen to it very often at all.
So I chose the wrong topic clearly, and that's okay. It's all right because 2 out of the 3 of us love music. And
Strike one, Daniel.
I was just interested. Have you had a chance to look at them at all, or Anthony?
I only looked at the Billboard charts recently only because of Tom McDonald's Fake Woke.
Yeah.
And it was trending on hip hop's top 100, and it was actually number 1. I think a few weeks ago. But then, yeah, you're right. As soon as you start looking down on that list, just on hip hop itself, a lot of these people I don't even know, never even heard of.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I used to be very familiar with hip hop probably 10, 15 years ago, and now it's Eminem is the only other name that I know that's on that list besides.
Yeah, I didn't look at any specific ones.
Yeah.
I just looked at the main chart.
I've kind of gone more independent, listening to more independent music than I have anything else.
Yeah, same here.
It's just you notice that people can be more expressive with their content when they are independent, not so much signed by a label. So.
Yeah, there's something. I've always resisted the popular stuff. As far as like the main popular shows, I've never. It's not that I'm, like, I don't know. I just never really got into it. I don't care about pop culture and popular music. I just don't care. I love the independent artist that you find on the street corner that's created this amazing piece of work that literally nobody knows about.
Yeah.
That fascinates me. Because those people, are doing it from the heart. They're doing it from, just it comes from somewhere different than, oh, well, we need this music to go a certain way. It has to follow a certain formula so that people like it, so we can sell albums. You know what I'm saying?
I tell you the one thing I enjoy, and I don't know if you guys do this or not, but I'll get on YouTube and I will binge watch street performers, the ones that play the drums or just play any kind of musical instrument out in public. I love watching those. Do you happen to watch any of those?
As a matter of fact, there's this one chick from Dublin, Ireland that goes out and plays on the street all the time. She's got a phenomenal voice, and I feel terrible because I cannot remember her name right off the top of my head, but I love listening to her voice. She got an amazing range, all sorts of songs she can sing and everything, and it's a lot of stuff I'm into anyway, so it's kind of neat. Anyway, but yeah, I like watching that.
What
stuff.
about you, John? Do you ever find yourself watching those? Have you seen those before?
He doesn't like music.
Yeah, well, I've seen them before, sure, and some of them are incredibly talented. I mean, wow, I've seen some incredible videos out there of street artists doing amazing things. Where I mean, it's a talent. Where on a busy corner, you could probably walk away with a couple $100 in 10 minutes.
Right. So let me turn my attention towards you yourself, John. I want you to take this moment and just kind of tell people in the audience who you even are, and tell us about yourself, I guess.
Okay, well, I'm just an average kind of Joe, and I stumbled upon Minds.com a couple years ago, in 2017, August, and set up an account and just started kind of like every day for my entire life. I wake up and read the news every day. I go through 5, 6, 7 sites and read the news, right? And so I just started sharing stuff and leaving commentary or leaving the meat of the article at the top of it. And I've grown over the couple of years to the point where I now have about 20,000 subscribers. I just got 20,000 subscribers 2 days ago. So
Jesus.
Still celebrating that. And, and I also interview people. So I've interviewed about, 50 to 100 people or so on Minds. And we have a radio show every Sunday night. And yada yada yada. So that's what I do. The Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show.
Right on. And I've been on there. Anthony's showed up for a bit on that one too, and it's a lot of fun. If anybody wants to check it out, go ahead and head over and check out at Censorship Sucks. Words are hard today, apparently, and you can see his stuff. But yeah, I don't know where you're located, but the weather we've been experiencing lately has been ridiculous, and not the weather itself, but people's reaction to the weather.
Bunch of snowflakes.
Like, ironically, yes.
Driving is crap. It's great.
Have you been hit by like the winter storms and whatnot coming through the United States? I don't know where you're located.
Yeah, not yes and no. I live kind of up in the mountains in Colorado, so
He gets it all the time.
yeah, it's like that's just kind of another day here.
Standard,
So-
right. See, I come from South Dakota, so I'm kind of used to what happens when it snows. And I go down to the grocery store to yesterday, and then there's like all the shelves are wiped clean. Like, these people, like, they can watch the weather enough to know that we got snow coming in.
Yeah.
But they can't watch the weather enough to know what's happening. 4 days later, we're supposed to have like 60-degree weather or something. Like,
Yeah, it's insane
guys,
watching
what
what's happening
what
in
are you
Texas
doing?
and everything. That's incredible. I mean, they are screwing it up. All this green stuff is doing it too. It's half their wind turbines froze. So are they
Yeah.
going to come right back too? Are they permanently damaged, or are they going to come thaw out and be good to go?
I don't know how that
think
would
it's-
work out, but yeah, that is interesting because that was something me and Daniel had discussed before the show tonight, and talking about alternative, solutions to energy and things like that, but nobody seems to ever take into account Mother Nature. It's going to win every single time, so
Right.
I don't know if it's just technology is not caught up with Mother Nature when it comes to, energy efficient resources. I don't know, but so I wanted to ask you, kind of shifting subjects a little bit, but so when you got on the mines, you mentioned that you've been on there since 2017. Did you get on initially as Censorship Sucks, or was this something that kind of evolved over time since you've been on the platform of Mines?
No, that was my frame of mind when I showed up at Mines. I was like, censorship sucks, man. I am so sick of it. Get me out of
Okay.
here. And so I gave it a shot, and it's been great.
It's
I
funny.
really love it over there. It's a fantastic site.
When I first started heading over to mines.com, the first username I typed in to try to grab was Censorship Sucks, because I was also there for the same reason. And this asshole had already had it before me. And I don't.
Damn it, John.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. It's for sale, man. For the right price, yeah, for sale.
How many tokens you want, man?
50 tokens. 50 tokens.
50 tokens.
50 tokens. No,
No,
I was curious about the cold. I know I'm jumping around subjects everywhere. I was just curious. The reason I was bringing up the cold subject and people's response to it is because I just can't seem to hammer in enough that people need to learn to be prepared, to prepare for a rainy day, that kind of thing. And it's like, I did not need to panic. I was just there to pick up some bread. I was just there I think I needed buns. Nothing. I have everything else. I'm like stocked up. I got plenty of food in my shelves. I've, and it's, I wonder how many people don't have, a week's worth of food in their kitchen ready to go, or like anything could happen, and people are not prepared. So
Yeah, to me, it just sounds like it's the same way with getting gas in your car. If you see the weather's going to be bad, I always tend to look out 7 days, right? So if I know that snow's in the forecast, I know to make sure before that does hit, I go to the gas station, fill up, grab a few things that I'll need to kind of carry me for the next couple of days. I don't go crazy with it because I don't need $200 worth of groceries to last me for a week. You know what I'm saying? Just enough to kind of
funny.
get me by.
That's
But
my weekly budget.
but you know what I'm saying though? It's just I don't think enough people are aware of the little things in life anymore, such as the weather, because people tend to panic at the last minute. And I've even had discussions with folks at work. I'm like, have you not watched the weather? Well, yeah, but I didn't think it was going to happen until tomorrow night. And I'm like, well, that's the thing about weather. It's unpredictable. And
Master procrastinators.
you need to give yourself at least a day or two kind of leeway to kind of get yourself kind of prepared for this, and put a little gas in the car, and stock up on the simple things. But
no, here's the reason it pisses me off. And John, you live in Colorado, so I'm sure you know all about being prepared, because you never know when you're going to be snowed into your house. But it's like you see these news stories come up about all these people in Texas. You're supposed to feel bad for them, and they're people are dying, and people are going without power, and it's like I I feel bad for them. First of all, I mean, I don't want to try to minimize their suffering or whatnot, but at the same time, it's like, how many of those people have watched this same cycle play out? You know, natural disaster happens. Big Daddy government comes in and saves the day. And then all you hear about on the news is, oh, well, they're not handling it right. Oh, they're not, sending resources here. Oh, who's to blame for this problem? Why wasn't this solved this way? And it's like, if these people would take some personal responsibility and actually be ready for stuff like this, you're in a climate where, where it's possible these things could happen. It's just... there's part of me that doesn't feel bad at all for these people. At the same time as part of me feels bad for these people.
Is that sensitive little prick?
Is that making? I mean, I'm at the risk of sounding insensitive. It's like you all know, like, shit happens, right? Like, y'all know, right?
Yeah, exactly. Is that Curry, man? Curry, can you hear us? I think you need to hit mute. Like somebody had just walked into your room or something there.
Oh, is that his end? I thought that was from your end.
No, that's
okay.
Not my end. He's okay. So that should be good. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, people need to be prepared for stuff. At least have, those 2 months supply of food are easy peasy to get. You know what I mean? And you store them away and off you go. And you never really have to worry about it until, you need it. And then you can. Or sometimes you just like, nothing looks good in the house. So you're like, you know what? Let me try one of these beef stews over here,
Right. I mean, I've got so much spaghetti, it would blow your mind because I found a bunch on sale, 25 cents a pack, dude. I've got literally 70 packages of spaghetti on one shelf. It's ridiculous. Anyway, and
that's the point. It doesn't take you don't have to stock everything. Just stock basics, staples. Oatmeal, man. Oatmeal's fantastic. You can go for months on oatmeal.
Right. Absolutely. Let me grab these comments over here. We got Krista from YouTube. She says the only time people pay attention to weather here is hurricane season.
And I think that's where I get my position on stocking up, prior is I'm from Florida, so I've been in a couple of hurricanes, so I kind of know the processes of prepping for things like that. So I'm a little bit more cognizant and more of aware of bad weather. Sometimes you can't predict it, such as tornadoes and things of that nature, but you are kind of given a little bit of warning and some sense of headway of what's coming or what to expect. So, I'll throw a little extra money on some groceries or whatever and to kind of tie me through. But part of the thing is a lot of people that I've talked to, they don't have batteries in their house. Most people don't even have a flashlight in their house. And I'm like, do you at least keep one in the garage? Yeah. Well, no, because they have other stuff. Most people use their garages for storage space. They don't use it for an actual workshop or whatever. Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, there's a lot of people out there that just are not prepared. I mean, if you're driving in this kind of conditions, I tell people all the time, make sure you have a blanket, make sure you have a flashlight, make sure you've got some sort of portable heater if you can put one in the car or in the trunk, because if you end up stranded on the side of the road, then it's going to take people some time to get to you. You need to be prepared, and you're not freezing your balls off waiting on somebody to show up.
I remember sitting down in the basement, in Indiana. We'd have storms come in every now and again, and South Dakota even, we'd have storms come in, and sometimes the snow would get pretty high where you might have got snowed in. And I remember regularly having conversations. We'd be sitting in the living room as a family and just talking about, hey, if this happens, what would you do? If this scenario happens played out, what would you do? How would you solve this? And that was kind of that playing that not mind game, but that exercise of thinking ahead and thinking, okay, so these are the kind of thing, this is how I would MacGyver my way out of this situation. If we get snowed in and we lose power, then we've got this and we've got, it's like, I don't know how many people just see this constant cycle where the government comes in and bails them out of their poor decisions or lack of action. It's like, and so they kind of expect it. And then when it doesn't come, or it doesn't come properly, they just get mad at the government. It's like, come on, people. Anyway, I was just sitting there thinking about, because I remember being down in a basement in Indiana.
That sounds creepy. There's nothing creepy about that, Daniel.
No, the place we lived in, just all the laundry rooms were downstairs in the basement and whatnot. and that's where we go down to do laundry. But also when severe conditions happened, everybody would go down there. So, it's an apartment complex, so you had a whole bunch of people, and we'd be down there listening to the radio, and even then you had that communal experience of discussing, hey, who's got this and who's got that and who's prepared for it. It's not, hey, I wonder if FEMA's going to be here by tomorrow to help me. There was not that discussion happening back then.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me back when I did some relief efforts down in Katrina or after Katrina, and if anybody remembers how long it took for FEMA to finally get to New Orleans after all the flooding and the devastation down there, and I can remember working with some people in some rescue efforts, and we kind of wondered about that. Like before FEMA showed up, we had the conversations as we're kind of going through the different canals, looking for, bodies and so forth. And, I'm like, where is FEMA? Where is the government at this point? Because we could really use the assistance, because we can only do so much. We're, out here on boats and helping people for 15 to 20 hours at a time. And it's like, we could really use some relief, but it took them so long to get there. It's like, that was my first run in with, okay, I'm not dependent on government no more.
Yeah.
Forget that shit. So, but what about, okay. So John, kind of want to take this back over to you, but, so what do you do for work? Like, I mean, not to tell us where you work at, but like, is the censorship?
I work in web development.
Okay, there you go. So how long have you been doing that for?
Oh, but I don't know, a decade or so.
So
Nice.
like all the pussy
maybe
then.
more.
So you get like all the pussy. Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh yeah.
I had a feeling.
Yeah, you're right. But,
I could hear it in your voice. I could hear it.
yeah, right. No, it's it's a fun area to be in. I do a lot of Q&A and looking for customers and meeting people and finding new avenues to develop and whatnot. And yeah, so it's fun and all, but it keeps me at my desk all day though, right? And I work from home, so I'm pretty much always close to my computer, which is why it's easy for me to manage my site and do all that kind of stuff and keep up with the news and aggregate the news.
We could definitely use a web developer.
Well, let me ask you this: what is your thoughts with Parler recently being, or not being, but recently coming back online?
Well, I think that they really kind of screwed up when they had this big security breach, right?
Right.
And the way that they were storing their files was, you don't want to do it that way. Mm-hmm. And they, it bit them in the butt. And to take it a step further, they were trusting Amazon, which wasn't a good idea. Everyone saw that from a mile away.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, are you kidding me? Like, you don't see that coming? They didn't see it coming. I don't know how you don't see that coming. And so I don't see them really having a bright future. People were saying maybe Trump would show up there, but I don't see that happening. He's probably going to develop his own site. And, part of me wonders if he, because Minds is completely open source, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what a node is?
As far as you talking as far as cryptocurrency goes, or
no? As far as like the development goes. Okay, so
no, I don't know what a node is.
Minds has a network of servers. They've got their server hubs, right? And they can create a node off of one of those, and then completely replicate Minds onto it like overnight. You follow me?
Yeah.
So I could walk up tomorrow and say, Bill, I'd like to buy a clone of Minds completely top to bottom, but it's going to be mine, and I'm going to call it, the CensorshipSucks.com, and boom, it's mine. I just don't have anyone there. Right. It's just a ghost town. That's all. But it's a clone of Minds, and it didn't cost me anything because it's open source.
I kind of wonder if Donald Trump has considered, looking into doing something like that, or if he's even familiar with Minds.
He is. Okay. Oh gosh, what's this guy's name again? One of Trump's top advisors through the last few months, Patrick Burns. You guys heard that name, Patrick Burns?
I am familiar with that name.
Heard the name.
Yes, he's been very close, inside tight with Trump over the last few months, and he was on the board of Minds.com for the last couple of years.
Oh, so, I did not know that.
Yeah, Medici Ventures did a like $6 million investment into mines a couple of years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, 2 years ago maybe. Um, and he sat on the board here with Bill and John and the whole 9 yards. And I'm sure John is still, connected to him to one degree or another. So,
Well, hell yeah.
no, it wouldn't be tough at all. And,
Well, speaking of mines, I was actually going through my Facebook friends list yesterday, and I started messaging people. And from the comments here, Tatted T says, couldn't comment on Facebook. Bastards have me banned for 3 days. So glad I could catch you here. And I was sitting there. I was talking to him last night, and after I sent it, I think it was like 2 a.m. is when I sent the link. And he joined on Mines with my referral link. And I do appreciate that, by the way, for doing that. Mm-hmm. And he said I must have jinxed him because like he just basically got banned for 3 days at the moment. I said, and it just couldn't have come at a better time, because what I'm asking people, I'm saying, hey, are you tired of arguing with idiots on Facebook? Why don't you come argue with idiots on Minds instead? The only difference is you're not going to get blocked for having the wrong opinions. So I've had 2 or 3 people so far come join me on Minds from that, and I'm trying to get all my friends over so that I can still. It's like I want to interact with you people. I friended you for a reason. I want to remain in contact. But I'm not going to go do it on Minds. I'm not going to do it. And if you care enough, and if you want to see what I'm up to and whatnot, then you'll join me elsewhere. It's just a click over. It's like basically your normal hangout, I'm not welcome at no more. So come next door to this other hangout and try it out. It might be better. You might enjoy it.
So I'm actually reading in the comment sections that Gab is down for a really long time.
Yeah, I saw that earlier. They're still down. Yeah.
What's going on there? I have not heard about that. Have you? What have you been hearing on your end?
I haven't heard anything strategic on that.
Yeah,
I could send a DM to somebody. Let me ask
about 10 hours
my
now.
Inside source.
Yeah, they're saying about 10 hours now. So what's funny is when Trump was kicked off of Twitter, Parler got completely overran. Mine's got quite a bit of traffic. Gab got completely overran too. And
now Gab is down.
The only site that didn't really seem to struggle with it was Minds.
Yeah.
Out of the 3.
Well, they lost a little bit of their content when it came to the ISO. What was it? Comments. And I think, Bill fixed that, got it back up online. But, Minds wasn't really affected and still hasn't been affected by all this. We're seeing the struggles that Parler's gone through. They were, at first you heard, okay, well, we'll be up, back up in a week. And then it turned into 2 weeks, and it was a month. And, then all of a sudden, Gab has struggled to begin with. Because they do everything in-house, and then all of a sudden they're down. There's no telling how long they're going to be down for or why they're down, and it's like the only platform, the only alternative platform that has stayed stable throughout this whole mess has been Minds. It's crazy.
And it's growing. And look what they did in Australia last night, right? To Facebook. Did you guys catch that?
No. Well, I work nights and I sleep during the day.
Go ahead and tell us a little bit about that. I've heard about it, and I've got friends in Australia that were having trouble posting their content as a result of it. What happened in Australia with Facebook in Australia?
Okay, so Australia is saying you got to start paying all of the news agencies down here, for all the content that goes onto your site, right?
Oh.
And Facebook said that's ridiculous. We can't do that. No way. Right, that's a worldwide precedent we're going to set here. So Australia pushed back, and Facebook pushed back, and eventually yesterday, Facebook decided to say that their solution is going to be you can't post any news agency from Australia is now banned from Facebook. Okay,
wow.
Any news, and that was like medical places.
Yep.
That was government
and it
agencies.
goes up the line too. Many government agencies there as well have been completely banned. So like you're saying.
And you idiots
Zuckerberg
are still on Facebook.
For me, it just blows my mind that people don't realize how much control Zuckerberg has, and for this to continue, is mind-boggling to me that people are letting him get away with this sort of thing.
Oh, it's not even that.
But it is a private company, and I understand that. Dude. But at some point, you know, you gotta cut the head off this dragon here, because he's getting at to me he's just out of control at this point.
Just like government, the only reason Zuckerberg has any power at
He's
all
got his hands in their pockets
is because people use the platform.
Yeah.
People use it.
Yeah.
You could voluntarily see, that's the difference between Facebook and government, is you can voluntarily not participate in Facebook,
Right.
but people still fucking do. Like, holy
Yeah,
crap.
I don't-
Why is any, literally, with all of the evidence mounting up, with all of the leaked footage of Zuckerberg, you know, basically showing you exactly what he's going to do and how he's going to do it, with all the actions that have taken place, of all the lies and all the data, all the privacy issues, like all of the abuse, and like, how accustomed to abusive relationships are you people? Holy crap. Let it go.
I don't know.
I feel sad for people on Facebook right now.
Well, you know, and this is something I was kind of talking to censorship before we got started tonight. I've had some issues here recently where, you know, if you want to actually permanently delete your account, you have to well, you don't have to, but you have the option of backing up all your files from photos and videos, right? So that's what I did. Well, when I opened up my email, I thought I extracted all of my content, because there's a lot of pictures and there's a lot of videos of me and my daughter, and I wanted that sort of thing. So as I'm starting to scroll through, I noticed that I'm missing a lot of photos. I'm missing a lot of videos from trips that we've taken over the last couple of years, and we've taken a lot of trips. And I was like, they didn't send this over. So now I've had to reactivate, I guess you call it reactivate, my Facebook account, get back on there, go in and manually save my photos and videos. The problem is, you go to my profile, click on photos, go over to the video tabs. I go down about halfway, my videos stop showing up. I refresh the page, they all show up. So it's like there's a glitch in Facebook where sometimes I see all my videos and then sometimes I don't. So then what I'm having to do is I'm having to find a Facebook downloader, I guess, website to copy the link over to save the video then to my phone. Yeah. You know, that was my mistake for not, you know, backing up all my files to a different, you know, source, but that's here nor there. It's just the fact that Facebook, you know, it's like, I wonder if sometimes if they intentionally do this to draw you back onto their platform.
I don't know. Mao Demise says, I've been off the Tracebook for about a month now. Swamp Cleaner says, I deleted Facebook 3 years ago. I've been getting used to calling it Feces Book, and so far nobody has noticed, because it looks like Facebook. So it's my little sneaky trick of, I don't know. I like it. I just call it Feces Book, and it's such a great name for it. So yeah, I mean, I've heard it Tracebook, Fuckbook, Feces Book.
Now,
kind of different ones.
For you, John, I know you're real big over on Josh Who TV. Tell us a little bit more about that platform.
Oh man, it's such a great thing over there. Honestly, it really, it's so cool. Josh Who TV is the creation of our good friend Josh Who, aka Seeking the Truth on YouTube. He's got 96,000 or so subscribers, you know, on YouTube.
Yeah, I was just on one of y'all's shows, I think about a week or two ago.
Yeah, been around a while, but he's one of the most heavily censored channels out there, because they know he's got sites like Josh Who and whatnot, and you know. So anyway, Josh Who TV is a place where I do all of my interviews. So I will bring someone over there. We go into a Jitsi room, which is basically a meeting room. What would be another way to say it? But the specific software that we use is called Jitsi. And
it's like a Zoom.
You push a button and you're going live now on Josh Who TV. So it's that easy, right?
Yep.
And you know, then I record it and have my normal way of, you know, post-production and all that stuff. But yeah, you know, just to have a guaranteed backup and to be able to go live with it, you know, while we're actually doing it, and have, you know, a few people, you know, friends and whatnot hanging out there with us, that's really cool. So that's one of the things. Hell, it's got an independent ability to add your own ad network to it, right? So you don't have to go through, Josh isn't going to like sell your stuff out and then pay you like, you know, YouTube does under the you know, sheets where you don't know what's going on. You get your own ad network. You just go sign up to an ad network and put in your code there, and boom, you're feeding ads on there that you get 100% of. which I think is another huge benefit to that site. And it goes on and on and on. Really, guys, go check it out. It is one of the best video streaming sites out there. It's a YouTube competitor in many ways, and I think he's got it figured out, man. And then JoshU.net. We don't really have time to get into that because there's so much over there.
Oh,
but,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, that's like a whole nother show. Have Josh on one of these days. He'll walk you through it all. It's tight.
Yeah, I'd definitely like to do that. There was recently, last week, I don't know, you guys heard of Rush Limbaugh?
Yeah.
And Rush Limbaugh
yeah.
passed away.
What a shame.
I did want to know because I've got my own, story. It's Rush for a lot of people seems to be that inflection point, like almost like the September 11th. Like, where were you on September 11th? Well, the question for this is like, hey, where were you at in your life when you started first listening to Rush? If you listened to Rush, or how
I remember that moment perfectly.
But
I remember that moment perfectly. Okay,
so let's start. Yeah, I'm just curious here because go ahead.
For me, we were driving back from a ski trip, right? About a 4-hour drive, and my buddy's like, we're listening to the normal tapes and music we normally listen to back then, and he's like, let's listen to this guy, and I'm like, well, what are you talking about? Like talk radio? Like who? What are you, like 80? Because we're in our teens now, like late teens. And we sat there and listened to him for the next 2.5, 3 hours, and it was awesome. So that's my first memory of listening to Rush, first time ever. And man, I was sold within 10 minutes, and lifelong ditto head. Wow.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Well, from me, my grandfather, who, that 80-year-old, kind of guy that wanted to listen to talk radio, coming from that generation of where they didn't have TV, but they listened to a lot of radio. It was very much, he was very much a fixture in my grandfather's household, to listen to Rush. And this was just about every night. This was a long time ago. And I remember as a kid sitting in the living room, I thought we were going to watch TV. This was back when you stayed the weekend with your grandparents and you hang out and do all this other stuff. And so, no, my grandfather just, he's an old, he's since then passed, but he was a Vietnam vet, and he wanted to listen to the radio every single night. He didn't want to watch TV. He sat in his recliner, and I sat on the other recliner. My grandmother was sitting across from him, and we just listened to talk radio. And that was the first time I was introduced to Rush. That was probably, I want to say probably back in the late 90s, maybe early 2000s. So not as long as most people, but still a fair amount of time that I've had a chance to listen to him.
Isn't that crazy? You can refer to Rush by the decade in which you started listening to him, and he was on the radio that long.
Yeah, he's been on for so long,
wow.
But for many, many years, well, pretty much the entire time he was on talk radio, he was the voice for conservatives. And for me, it was looking back at when my grandfather used to sit around and listen to Rush, it made a lot of sense as to why my grandfather was the way he was. Not in a bad way. It's just a lot of people, and from what I've been seeing since he's passed, a lot of people did admire this man, but then you also had a lot of people on the other side did not like this man at all. Yeah. So I've been seeing a little bit of both on both sides. But yeah, it's interesting.
Well, for me, honestly, I don't know why I would say honestly, as if everything else I said was a lie tonight, but this is definitely true. Anyway, so my first time I heard Rush, I was working at a tool and die manufacturing company, and I bored out of my mind. I'm looking for something to do. I'm tired of listening to music, and I switch over to whatever the talk radio station was out there in Maryville, in Tennessee. And Rush was on at the time. I think it was a midday spot, what have you. I don't remember what time exactly he's on. Anyway, so I start listening to him, and I'm like, this guy is really passionate about what he's talking about.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what he's talking about, but he is really passionate about it, and he's really angry at those Democrats. What's a Democrat?
Yeah.
Honestly, that's where I was at. Early 20s. Did not know the difference. I didn't know what a Democrat and Republican was.
But
I had no idea.
You know what's funny though is because when I got older, even though I listened to Rush frequently, I was very much a Democrat, I was a fan of Clinton. I was not a fan of Bush. I voted for Obama for his first term, but not his second.
Yeah.
And it was weird because I was kind of getting both ends of the spectrum of listening to Rush from the conservative side and yet listening to the politicians. And, so I was trying to be that kid that was open to both sides of the aisle or the conversation,
right.
Because back then it was a little bit more tolerable. Now you can forget about it.
So as I'm listening to him, I'm learning what a Democrat and a Republican is. I'm learning what the principles of the Republican Party are.
Right.
I know some things about myself at this time, but I don't know what the labels are for them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what category I'm supposed to be in, if you will.
What box you're supposed
to
be in.
And for the longest time, I thought I was a Republican, except I was also an atheist, so I didn't quite fit in, because, Republicans and atheists don't quite get along for the most part. But there was, and as I started learning more about myself, I started learning that I'm more, socially liberal and more fiscally conservative. You hear that kind of phrase being thrown around a lot. I was kind of in that camp. But it was like, as I'm listening to him, I'm learning a lot, and I'm learning a lot from other voices around that same radio station. Neil Bortz was another one where I learned about the fair tax. That was incredible. I didn't even know I was mad about taxes until I started hearing that, and I was like, wait a minute. So as I'm listening to his voice and I'm listening to his show every single day while I'm at work, I'm just enthralled. I'm like, what are we going to be mad about today?
Yeah.
So and just over all the years, while my political ideology has and my personal philosophies and whatnot have drifted away, and I found a new home within myself, I still have a lot of respect for what he talks about. He's very principled, very he knows what he believes, and he's going to stick to it 100% no matter what. And that's great. We need that voice. We need all the voices, I think. But this was one voice that you cannot deny. I mean, you'd be crazy if you didn't at least have some respect for the level of influence he had over everybody's been influenced by him in one fashion or another who's in the political sphere, whether it's positive or negative. There is influence there, and you got to have some respect for that.
Yeah,
you
do.
There's something to be said about that. And just curious, what do you guys think? I don't want to say he's replaceable, but who do you think might take that spot? Who would be a good person to fill that time slot is what I mean. Not his shoes, but his time slot.
Glenn Beck.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Glenn Beck?
Yeah.
That's out there. I don't think Mark Levin's doing well. I hate to say it, but I've heard he's just not doing well enough to do something like that. But who's the British guy that fills in for him all the time? Stein, Mark Stein.
I don't know. Uh-oh.
I haven't listened to Rush or I listen to Levin probably two or three times a week on podcast format. But
Mark Stein is really good.
I was going to say Dan Bongino is who I was going to say.
Yeah.
But he's got his own whole nother personality. He seems to have quite the following. I don't know. I like the way he spells stuff out. It's not Rush, but it's Bongino.
And the reasons why I said Glenn is because he's always been on both sides of the spectrum here, and sometimes you need that voice kind of a little bit down the middle. And that would be kind of nice to hear, but that again, that's just my opinion. So, but you guys out in the comment section that are watching tonight, who do you think ought to fill in for Rush, if that's even possible? It's not to say to fill in his shoes, but at least to take that time slot.
I'm seeing Crowder. I'm seeing Candace Owens. That's a good one. Somebody says Hannity.
I would go with Ben Shapiro.
I would throw Tucker in there.
Got another Mark Levin. Like, there's so many great voices, and here's the thing. I think talk radio died with Rush Limbaugh.
Censorship sucks.
Hey, there you go.
I wrote that in there.
Yeah. Nobody said censorship sucks, and nobody said unframe of mind. I'm kind of offended now, so we're not even going to talk to that.
We're not even within that spectrum of conversation there, Daniel. No, I my other choices would be Tucker Carlson or Ben Shapiro. I don't know if Ben's just too fast. A lot of people complain about him talking so fast. So I don't know if that would be an issue for him.
But with all of the different voices out there that bring their own perspective, and I just don't know that talk radio is the model anymore. I just don't know that it is.
So, that's...
I have not listened to talk radio since podcasting started. I've been listening to podcasts, and because I can choose my media diet, and I don't know. I feel like talk radio
Yeah.
may have died with Rush Limbaugh, honestly.
Well, podcasts have grown in there too, right? So, like, look at say Joe Rogan with his podcast. What is he getting to? 30 million people a week,
Jesus Christ. Yeah,
20
well,
Yeah,
whatever.
it's
Something.
insane. Mm-hmm.
and I mean that's about the numbers that Rush had on his show. So, but they're just two markets that need to be filled. You have to be able to be there when somebody gets in their car and turns on the AM radio and goes to whatever. You know what I mean?
I can't remember the
There has
last
to be an
time I
answer for
listened to
that.
AM
AM
radio.
radio. What are you,
Yeah.
80?
Well,
Are you
people
80?
still do that.
Did you run out of podcasts and you don't get no signal on your phone anymore? Are you out in the middle of the boonies? Like, there's only like 4 people in every state that listen to AM radio at this point.
Well, I think
No.
there's
No, man, there's not.
there's just so many people out there I think would be fitting for such a position. But I think you're right. I think that talk radio did die with him, but I think we also maybe are seeing that transition that, you kind of have to change with the times going
Dude,
from
our radio,
talk radio.
I've got a radio show every Sunday night, right? We host it every Sunday night. We
Mhm.
get 50 to 60,000 people listening to it, right?
Mm.
That's the power of radio, dude. Trust me, it's not dead. It's not. It's there. It exists.
All right, maybe
What is
maybe we need a talk radio show. Maybe that's the move.
We might do better over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonder if we can get on 99.7, 3 in the morning, something like that.
I work at 3 a.m.
Hey, I don't care. We'll
Exactly,
strap
right?
you up. We'll strap you up with a mic, a wireless mic and shit. We'll just port you in, and you can just talk
Yeah,
while you work.
if they gave me an XM radio show at 4 a.m, I'd be like, oh God, thank you. Absolutely. I cannot wait to show up.
Yeah, no kidding. Holy
I'd
crap.
be like, fuck, now I have to get, now how does my life even work now?
Well, let me ask you this, John. We have a private members-only Zoom call that we do every week right after the show. It's not live. It's just it's a private call where audience members will come in. They can talk to the guests and whatnot. If you're able to, would you be interested in joining us for that?
Sure. Absolutely.
All right. And for those in the audience here, if you would like to join us in that phone call, or Zoom call rather, make sure you are joined up with our Discord or our Telegram channels, and I post the link in the announcements channel on our Discord when that time comes. And feel free to hop on in and join the conversation. I'll probably kick the conversation off with everyone else's Rush Limbaugh stories and see what everybody has to say about that. I want to thank this hobo guy.
Hobo.
Curry Hobo.
Curry Hobo, thank you. Sorry.
Yeah,
You're better, more well equipped to say something about that. So,
Yeah, I was just going to say, go to minds.com, look up Curry Hobo, Curryhobo. Curry, like the food, and hobo, like give curry to the hobo. Right? So he's the man. He's such a phenomenal artist. He's done all the work for, the frog, my avatar. Right. Yeah, I think you had it up over your shoulders earlier in the night. Yeah, he did that for me. He did my banner, all of it. I lean on this guy for art all the time.
right on. So
He's phenomenal.
I like the fact that he's doing this in real time with us as we're talking during the show and kind of giving that play-by-play, visually.
Yeah.
It's really neat. It's different. I have not seen this until we've had this tonight on the show. So
Web 3.0, oh baby, this is Web 3.0. It
hey, we
really
can
is.
do whatever we want. Whatever.
And
we
again,
want,
folks,
so.
go to minds.com, Curry Hobo, and you will find the art that we're talking about on his site. He'll have it, I think, made into a blog. Curry, can you speak up for a quick second and say hi?
Yo, can you guys hear me?
Barely.
you can hear you.
Yes.
Yeah. How you doing, man?
Good. Thank you guys for entertaining me.
Where can people find all this beautiful art you made tonight?
You just told him.
Yeah, curryhobo.minds.com. That's the place.
All right.
For the people just tuning in, like
No,
just
yeah.
tuning in.
There's like literally nobody watching. So, listen, I appreciate you coming on and doing that for us and giving us
Yeah,
a
love that.
visual element of what we're talking about today. I may hit you up next time we have a audio only guest just to fill in the blanks, and maybe we'll exchange a few tokens in return or something like that. But thank you for that. If you guys want to join us for the Zoom call after the show,
Hell yeah. How many tokens you want?
all of them. Just give me all of the tokens. Wait, that's not how this negotiation works.
No, it
is
doesn't work that way, Daniel. we need to work on that.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and sign off for the evening. I
want to thank everybody for coming on tonight, especially Censorship Sucks, and kind of getting to know you a little bit more. I know we had a lot to cover when it came to Rush and a few other things, but we've loved the interaction we've had with you over the last month, that we've all kind of ran into each other, as you mentioned. I know that you talked to Daniel back during the what was it, the DC situation?
Right.
I'm not going to say anything about that because we'll probably get banned. But but then I've been recently on your show, Censorship, and it's been great getting to know everybody recently. It's been a good network of people over on Minds, and for those that are watching, if you're not on there, just go over there and just give it a shot and kind of check it out. Sub to everybody. Censorship Sucks. Yeah, I'm having words with trouble with words tonight too.
Censorship Sucks. Curry Hobo. Unframe of Mind and Unframe of Mind AT. That's where you can find all four of us. So looking forward to seeing y'all after the show. Y'all have a good night.
one.
Until next week.
See ya.
And the